So, a little bit of context before I start the video. In my first video about a month ago, I got a comment saying, and I quote, "Stop the cap, Sasuke lost," with a laughing emoji. Now, usually I just reply to any comments I get on any videos and have a discussion with them right then and there. However, with how poorly scheduled my college's first semester was, I didn't really have any time for that. Other than that, I myself said that scaling Naruto and Sasuke is not a big problem requiring numbers and calculations because Naruto's already been proven to be planetary, and given that Sasuke has always been stated to be quite relative to him, he too is planetary, right? But here's the problem, even after a decade of Boruto, I've seen countless debates where people state that Naruto got severely weaker from his Warlock counterpart. You see, this mainly comes from the fact that when people say weakened or nerfed, they think that this character is now just average or even worse at the bottom of the list, when in reality that never happens. I mean, in the sweet reality of it, Naruto has never fallen from grace, and the only time he ever did was when he was in a situation that put him in a very clear disadvantage. And with all of that being said, here's why Naruto never got weaker in Boruto. Before we begin, I'd like to ask if you could leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as I'd greatly appreciate it. Now let me just state that I'm not gonna go too crazy power scaling on you guys. I don't think this is a justifier in this kind of argument, and so I'm going to present a really casual and large brushstroke kind of analysis on Naruto and his strength within the series, kind of from Kishimoto Sensei's and Ikimoto Sensei's perspective, because from that point of view, it reveals a lot about Naruto's strengths. And what better way than to talk about his quote-unquote lost abilities and the terrible headcanons that many people have developed about adult Naruto. The first argument is the loss of his Truth Seeker orbs and him not being able to fly anymore. Now, I hate to be the guy, but Naruto was never able to regenerate or get new Truth Seeking orbs, which is clearly visible in the final battle, where he only has 3 orbs which are later destroyed during said battle. As for the flight argument, while I do agree that adult Naruto doesn't use flight in the majority of the fights he's been in, we must also note that in the movie version of the Momoshiki fight, we actually do see Naruto fly up to save Sasuke. And before you go arguing that the movie version isn't canon, remember that this was the only version written by Kishimoto Sensei, so by your logic it is more canon than the Boruto manga or anime. Couple this with the fact that Naruto has also been seen flying past a train in an anime canon episode, and it becomes pretty clear that Naruto never lost the ability to fly and is still able to use it in Boruto. Finally, the biggest lost ability of Naruto is Six-Path Sage Mode. This may surprise some people, but there is objective evidence that Naruto did in fact retain Six-Path Sage Mode as an adult. This is because when Naruto activates his chakra cloak, his eyes have the cross pattern without the orange pigmentation that comes when he uses Sage Mode. On top of this, as I pointed out earlier, Naruto still has the ability to fly, which is stated in the data book to be caused by Six-Path Sage Mode. And when Kurama was explaining Baryon Mode to Naruto, he asks how it is different from Kurama Mode and Six-Path Sage Mode, which implies that he still has Six-Path Sage Mode and is actively using it. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that I don't need to elaborate on what the Six-Path Yang Seal is and how Naruto lost it right after sealing Kaguya. Now, with all of that being said and done, let us go on to the more debatable part of the video, as now we shall go over and counter what I consider to be the most controversial problem in Naruto's power scaling, known as the Otsutsuki clan. Now, I know it's mostly due to their hacks and Ishiki, because he just bodied Naruto and Sasuke with little to no problem. However, I think that since I'm the only one addressing Naruto's strength in such a manner, it's my duty to cover every single Otsutsuki clan member that makes us doubt Naruto's strength, excluding Todoroki, because the last is a story of its own and he didn't make us doubt anything, so like, yeah. Up first we have Momoshiki, and specifically Fused Momoshiki, who is said to be a Kaguya level threat multiple times throughout the story. Now, do note that I'm not debating Kaguya versus Momoshiki today, but if I see enough comments, I will make a poll that may result in a video that covers a fight between the two. As for the continuity I'm using, I'm gonna go with the anime version of the fight, since that is the most popular and commonly used version of it. Anyways, after Momoshiki became Fused Momoshiki, we could see how big of a boost he'd gotten. I mean, the Kage got one-shotted in a minute, but then again we could see base Naruto with half of his chakra absorbed somewhat keep up with Fused Momoshiki, or about 2 or 3 minutes I guess, and then Naruto starts to do Six-Path Sage Mode with the Kurama cloak, while Sasuke switches to his EMS. The fight starts off with the two pushing Momoshiki, and we can still see him somewhat keep up with them, but we can clearly see that Naruto and Sasuke are starting to overpower him. But the point is that Naruto and Sasuke, who are mostly said to be past their primes by the community, are easily overpowering Momoshiki in all three versions of the fight with a low to mid difficulty depending on how you look at it. However, there is just one problem that becomes quite the trouble in the upcoming fights. Momoshiki can absorb chakra, so ninjutsu doesn't work on it. And let's keep this in mind now, because we're going to talk about Jigen and Ishiki Otsutsuki, the same person literally. And now stay with me, because this is where Boruto scaling starts to get a bit tricky, because we have seen him fight against Naruto and Sasuke, but then we have also seen statements like Code without his limiters on Jigen's level. And now I don't want to get too much into Two Blue Vortex here, but let's remember that Sasuke, after losing his Rinnegan, managed to fight Code and take his eye. And this is Code after removing his limiters. So now we have quite the scenario, because at one side Jigen was beating the hell out of both Naruto and Sasuke with his karma and the 10 tails chakra he absorbed, but Code, who is supposed to be stronger than or equal to Jigen at the very least, is having trouble against a severely weaker Sasuke. Going back to topic, Naruto, as seen in the Jigen and Ishiki fight, is heavily outclassed because A, his opponent has the abilities that he does not have the counter to, and B, his opponent has higher stats than him in both fights. And now with all of that being said, I'll leave the debate to you guys in the comment section, so feel free to put your thoughts down there, and I'll be more than happy to help clear any doubts that you guys might have. Once again, apologies for the terrible schedule I've had, but hey, it's gonna be April soon and I've made the perfect video for that. And until then, it is your boy Rishi, I'm out.